In a strategic discussion with his potential successor, former President Donald Trump, U.S. President Joe Biden has called for continued U.S. support for Ukraine, underlining that it is crucial for Kyiv to maintain a strong negotiating position when future talks with Russia take place. This comes as the conflict between Ukraine and Russia shows no signs of easing, and international diplomatic efforts to find a resolution intensify. According to a report by Sputnik, White House Strategic Communications Coordinator John Kirby confirmed that President Biden took the opportunity to emphasize the importance of continued American assistance to Ukraine in his recent exchanges with President-elect Trump. Biden's message was clear: sustaining support for Ukraine is not only vital for its defense against Russian aggression, but is also essential for ensuring that Ukraine is in a strong position when it comes time to negotiate with Russia. Kirby explained, President Biden has had discussions with the president-elect about this critical issue, urging the continued support to keep up the momentum, so when negotiations take place, Ukraine will have the leverage it needs. This statement comes in the context of the U.S. government's ongoing involvement in the Ukraine crisis. As part of their commitment, the U.S. has been providing military, economic, and humanitarian support to Ukraine since the Russian invasion began in February 2022. This backing has played a key role in Ukraine's ability to defend its sovereignty, while also maintaining a level of stability in the face of overwhelming military aggression from Russia. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin has proposed a plan for a peaceful resolution to the ongoing war. In a recent statement, Putin outlined the terms under which Moscow would be willing to halt military operations and enter into negotiations. His proposal includes an immediate ceasefire, conditional upon Ukraine withdrawing its forces from territories that Russia claims as its own. Putin also called for a series of political concessions from Ukraine, including the abandonment of its aspiration to join NATO, a move that has been a significant source of tension between Russia and the West. Additionally, the Russian leader demanded that Ukraine undergo demilitarization and denazification, terms that have been widely criticized for their vagueness and political undertones. Putin also insisted that Ukraine adopt a neutral, non-aligned status and commit to being a non-nuclear state. One of the more controversial aspects of Putin's proposal is his call for the lifting of international sanctions against Russia. The sanctions, which have been imposed by Western countries in response to Russia's actions in Ukraine, have severely impacted the Russian economy, leading to increased isolation from global markets. Putin's offer to end the sanctions would likely be seen as a key bargaining chip in the diplomatic process. As these discussions unfold, the international community remains deeply divided on the best path forward. President Biden's administration has consistently supported Ukraine, arguing that Russian aggression must be countered to preserve international norms and uphold the sovereignty of nations. The U.S. government, along with its NATO allies, has warned against conceding to Russia's demands, particularly regarding NATO and Ukraine's sovereignty, as it would set a dangerous precedent in global geopolitics. For President Biden, the continuation of U.S. aid to Ukraine is not only a matter of defending a democratic nation against an authoritarian regime, but also a strategic move to maintain U.S. influence in the global order. The White House has made it clear that the U.S. stands firmly with Ukraine, and Biden's encouragement for Trump to support this stance highlights the political continuity that Biden hopes to see on this issue, even in the face of a change in leadership. With the U.S. presidential election looming, Biden's plea to Trump underscores the high stakes of the Ukraine conflict, which remains one of the most significant geopolitical challenges of the 21st century. As both countries face domestic political challenges and the ongoing toll of war continues to mount, the question remains: can diplomatic talks lead to a peaceful resolution, or will the conflict drag on for years to come? In the meantime, the U.S. and its allies continue to press for a diplomatic solution that preserves Ukraine's territorial integrity and sovereignty, while Putin's government persists in its calls for Ukraine to meet its conditions for peace. The international community's response to these developments will be critical in shaping the future of Eastern Europe and the broader global balance of power.